Hey there, friends. If you're watching this, it means you're thinking about how to stay strong and independent after 60. And let me tell you something, this phase of life is a test of resilience, wisdom, and strength. The good news? You don't have to face it alone. In this video, we're going to talk about 6 essential pillars that will keep you standing tall, even when family support fades, when old friendships change, and when your body starts whispering hints of slowing down. These 6 things will make you stronger than ever, giving you a life of freedom, confidence, and purpose. Before we dive in, drop a comment below and let me know where you're watching from. Are you in the US? Canada? Europe? Asia? I love hearing from people around the world. It reminds us that no matter where we are, we're all in this together. Also, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss future videos packed with insights to help you live your best life after 60. Now, let's get started. Pillar 1. Physical strength, the foundation of independence. If you ask any senior what their biggest fear is, many will say the same thing. I don't want to become a burden. And the best way to make sure that never happens? Keep your body strong. Let's talk about David, a 67-year-old retired firefighter. For decades, David was the guy who ran into burning buildings, lifted people out of danger, and carried heavy equipment like it was nothing. But after retirement, he slowed down. He told himself he deserved to rest. Then one day, he tried to get out of bed and his legs didn't move as fast as his mind wanted them to. The muscles that had once carried him through fire and smoke now struggled to support him getting up from a chair. David made a choice. Instead of accepting weakness, he fought back. He started walking daily, then added some weight training. Within months, his strength returned. The truth is, if you don't use it, you lose it. Muscle loss after 60 is fast. You can lose up to 3% of your muscle every year if you're not actively working on it. But the great news? You can reverse it. Even if you've never exercised a day in your life, start today. Take daily walks. Use light weights or resistance bands. Stand on one leg for balance training. Practice getting up from a chair without using your hand. Your physical strength is the foundation of your independence. When you're strong, you can keep driving, traveling, and living life on your own terms, without waiting for someone to help you. Pillar 2. Mental sharpness, your greatest weapon. Do you ever walk into a room and forget why you're there? Ever struggle to remember a name you've known for years? If so, don't panic. It happens to all of us. But the key is making sure it doesn't get worse. Let's talk about Linda, a 72-year-old retired teacher. Linda spent her life shaping young minds, but when she hit her late 60s, she started noticing small changes. She misplaced her glasses, forgot appointments, and sometimes struggled to find the right words in conversations. At first, she brushed it off. It's just aging, she thought. But then she read about something shocking. Our brain is just like a muscle. If we stop using it, it shrinks. Linda made a choice. She fought back. She started doing puzzles, reading more, learning a new language, and staying socially engaged. And within months, the brain fog lifted. Science backs this up. People who actively challenge their minds, through learning, puzzles, or even social conversations, reduce their risk of dementia by up to 40%. If you want to stay mentally sharp, read books, even if it's just 10 pages a day. Learn something new, a language, an instrument, a new skill. Or stay social. Talking with others forces your brain to stay active. Play games that challenge your memory, like chess or Sudoku. The bottom line? Your brain can stay strong for life, but only if you use it. Before we move on, let me ask you, which of these 2 pillars do you feel you need to work on the most? Is it your physical strength or your mental sharpness? Drop a comment below. I love reading your thoughts. Now, let's talk about something even more powerful, the emotional pillar that holds everything together. Pillar 3. Purpose, the secret to feeling alive. Have you ever met someone who retired, finally had all the free time they dreamed of, and then felt completely lost? That's exactly what happened to Mart. Mark spent 40 years working as an engineer. He was respected, busy, and always had a reason to get up in the morning. But when he retired at 65, something unexpected happened. At first, it was great. He traveled, played golf, and relaxed. But after a year, he started feeling restless. He would wake up and think, "What do I do today?" Days started blending together. He missed the sense of importance he had at work. One day, a friend invited him to volunteer at a local school, helping kids with math. At first, he wasn't sure. "I'm done with work, why start something new?" But after his first week, something inside him lit up again. Having a purpose gave him back his energy. He wasn't just passing time anymore, he was needed again. This isn't just Mark's story. It's science. Studies show that people with a strong sense of purpose live longer, have lower rates of disease, and even feel less pain. Your purpose doesn't have to be big. It just has to be yours. Maybe it's mentoring young people. Maybe it's gardening and taking care of the earth. Maybe it's learning and sharing knowledge with others. Maybe it's simply making someone smile every day. Whatever it is, find it. Because once you wake up with a purpose, life feels exciting again. Pillar 4. Emotional resilience. Bouncing back from life's changes after 60, life changes in ways you never expected. Friends move away or pass on. Family members get busy with their own lives. Your body doesn't always cooperate the way it used to. For many, this leads to sadness, frustration, and even depression. But here's something important. Happiness isn't about what happens to you. It's about how you respond to it. Let's talk about Alice. Alice was 70 when her husband, Robert, passed away. They had been married for 45 years. She went from always having someone by her side to living in an empty house. The silence was unbearable. For months, she struggled to get out of bed. She barely ate. She felt like her world had ended. But one morning, she looked at a photo of her and Robert from their honeymoon. She thought, "He would hate seeing me like this." That day, she made a decision. She joined a walking group, started attending a local book club, and even picked up painting, a hobby she had given up decades ago. It wasn't easy. There were days she wanted to give up. But little by little, she built a new life. This is emotional resilience. It's the ability to adapt, heal, and move forward. So how can you build it? Or accept change? Life will never stay the same, and that's okay. Embrace new chapters instead of fearing them. Stay connected. Isolation is dangerous. Even if you don't feel like it, make an effort to talk to people. Take care of your mind. Meditate, journal, or talk to someone. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health. Practice gratitude every night. Write down 3 good things about your day. It rewires your brain to focus on the positive. The strongest people in the world aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who get back up. Next, we're diving into something even more powerful: the relationships that will either lift you up or pull you down. Pillar 5. Social connections, the key to longevity. Let's talk about Richard and George. Richard and George were both 75 years old. They grew up in the same town, worked hard their whole lives, and retired around the same time. But their lives after 70 took completely different paths. Richard spent most of his days alone. He saw his family on holidays, but daily life? It was quiet. He didn't go out much, didn't call old friends, and spent most of his time watching TV. George, on the other hand, stayed socially active. He had a weekly breakfast group, played cards with friends, and even volunteered at a local community center. At 80, Richard looked 10 years older than his actual age. His health declined, his memory faded, and his energy levels dropped. George, meanwhile, still had a sharp mind, strong body, and a sense of purpose. Why? Because social connections are as important as exercise and diet when it comes to aging well. Science backs this up. Studies show that seniors with strong social ties live longer, have lower rates of dementia, and even recover from illnesses faster. So, ask yourself, when was the last time you had a deep conversation with someone? Do you have at least one person you can truly count on? Are you making an effort to stay connected, or are you waiting for others to reach out? If you feel lonely, do something about it. Call an old friend. Join a club, a group, or an online community. Or say yes to invitations, even if you feel like staying home. Be the one who reaches out first. You don't need a big social circle. You just need the right people. Pillar 6. Protecting your energy. Letting go of toxic relationships. Not all relationships are good for you. Some people make you feel drained, frustrated, or unimportant. And after 60, you don't have time for that. Think about Martha. Martha was 68 and had spent her entire life putting others first. She had a friend, Linda, who always called her, but only to complain, gossip, or ask for favors. After every call, Martha felt exhausted. She realized that not all friendships are worth keeping. Some people stay in your life out of habit, not because they bring you joy. So, one day, she made a decision. She stopped answering calls that drained her. She focused on relationships that felt mutual and uplifting. She set boundaries for the first time in her life. And guess what? She felt lighter, happier, free. It's okay to let go of relationships that don't serve you. Your time is valuable. Spend it with people who make you feel good, not those who make you feel obligated. Here's how to identify toxic relationships. Do you feel exhausted after spending time with them? Do they only reach out when they need something? Do they constantly bring negativity into your life? Do they make you feel guilty for setting boundaries? If the answer is yes, it's time to distance yourself. You don't need drama, negativity, or people who only take from you. Surround yourself with people who support your happiness, friends who encourage you to stay active and engaged, those who make you laugh, feel loved, and feel seen. Because at the end of the day, your relationships shape your reality. You've made it this far. You've built strength, sharpened your mind, protected your emotions, and chosen the right relationship. But here's the most important question. What kind of life do you want to live from now on? Many people assume that after 60, life slows down, that it's about settling into routine, avoiding risks, and just coasting through the years. But the truth is, this can be the most exciting, fulfilling time of your life, if you design it that way. Now we will talk about taking control, about making sure your next 20, 30, or even 40 years are filled with purpose, adventure, and joy. Building your ideal daily life. Small habits, big impact. Have you ever noticed that some people in their 70s and 80s are full of energy, while others seem tired and stuck? The difference is in their daily habit. Take James, for example. At 74, he still wakes up every day with a plan. He starts his mornings with a walk in the fresh air. He keeps his mind active by reading, learning, and staying curious. He socializes with friends, stays active in his community, and finds joy in simple moments. Meanwhile, his old friend Tom, same age, spends most of his time sitting in front of the TV, waiting for the day to end. Both men are 74, but one is alive and the other is just existing. It all comes down to what you do every day. Start by asking yourself, what excites me? What small daily habits will make my life richer? What kind of person do I want to be in 10 years? Then, start living that way now. If you don't design your life, life will design itself for you. And that's not a risk worth taking. Daring to try new things. It's never too late. Most people stop trying new things as they age. They say, I'm too old to start. What if I fail? Or people will think I'm crazy. But here's the reality. The people who live the longest, happiest lives are the ones who keep learning, growing, and exploring. Think about Betty. At 68, she decided to take a painting class, even though she had never painted a day in her life. By 72, she had sold her first painting at a local art fair. Or Mike, who learned to swim at 70 because he always regretted never doing it as a kid. Or Susan, who took her first solo trip at 75 and found a whole new love for adventure. There is no too late. There is only too scared. What's something you've always wanted to try? Or a new language? Playing an instrument? Or writing a book? Or traveling to a place you've always dreamed of? Go for it. Life doesn't stop at 60. It begins again in a whole new way. Taking control of your future, no more waiting. Many people wait for permission to live. They wait for their kids to call, for the perfect moment to start something new, for someone else to make plans for them. But you don't have time to wait. If you want to be happy, create happiness. If you want adventure, plan it. If you want connection, reach out. Your future isn't something that just happens. It's something you build, and you have the power to shape it into exactly what you want. Now, it's time to ask yourself, what do you want from this stage of life? Do you want more joy? Make space for it. Do you want deeper connections? Invest in the right people. Do you want to feel strong and capable? Start today. This isn't about age. It's about choice. So, what's one thing you're going to do differently starting today? Drop a comment and let me know. I love hearing your stories. And if you found this series helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because life after 60 is just getting started. You're stronger than you think, and your best years, they're still ahead.